Had to dive into this subject because we got a Cybertruck leak from an employee from Kim Java, who apparently was contacted anonymously, so we don't really have much background information, but the alignment of these Cybertruck castings definitely look real and I think are quite believable. But just keep in mind as we're discussing this that we don't even really know for sure if this photo was taken at GigaTexas. It does kind of look like it's in the corner of a pretty big building, so I don't think that means this is the official assembly line like Tesla has Cybertrucks all being built right next to each other. You know, it is isolated, it is by itself, and there's still a chance that this is not even the production model. This might just be Tesla working on another demo unit, and it's meant for prototyping, it's meant for beta testing things. That means that a lot of this stuff could change by the time they actually start deliveries, but in the event that this is pretty close to the production model, and, you know, Tesla themselves has said that the Cybertruck is in the tooling stage, I just want to pick apart the image a little bit because I'm sure, like a lot of you, no Cybertruck update is too small. So first of all, I'm pretty confident that we're looking at least part of the casting pieces that are going to come out of the 9,000 ton Gigapress. So another important thing to keep in mind, that 9,000 ton Gigapress, while it has been shipped, as far as we're aware, it has not been installed yet at the GigaTexas facility. There's been a lot of foundational work going on. Check out Joe Tegmeyer on Twitter or on YouTube for any and all updates surrounding construction there, but the casting presses haven't arrived yet, so that's why I'm not entirely convinced any of this is very finalized. It's possible that maybe they tested the Gigapress in Italy, cranked out a few castings, and then shipped those castings to the US a while back. Tesla definitely had what appeared to be Cybertruck exoskeletons arriving at the factory, but we don't know where they were built, and they are clearly nowhere to be seen in this image. So also just a preference, I am not a structural engineer, an engineer really of any kind. I am literally just a guy in sweatpants that enjoys talking about EVs, so don't hold a lot of weight in my commentary, but I have been reading a lot of the internet's response to this, getting different perspectives and opinions to what this rear underbody looks like for the Cybertruck, and generally, a lot of self-claimed engineers are claiming that this disproves Tesla's exoskeleton theory, because there's clearly a lot of these castings that are accommodating for the entire body of the vehicle, so don't believe anyone that claims the exoskeleton is still replacing the body-on-frame design when this clearly exists, where I still am seeing a lot of the opposite, where it's important to keep in mind that the exoskeleton is made of incredibly thick, very strong steel that does not bend or dent very easily. So because of that, you can't build in that many intricate parts. You know, castings you can get a lot more specific with and put in mounts and brackets that you can attach interior components to, windows to, accessories to, which I'm sure the Cybertruck has to have a lot. And that's why, even though this may look like a more traditional basic body of a pickup truck because we don't see the exoskeleton attached yet, and it appears that a lot of structure is being held in these different portions, which the photo tells us it's in the powder coat stage. I think that's mostly just for mounting a bunch of wires and components for the interior, but the exoskeleton is still likely going to hold a lot of the vehicle together. It may not accommodate for the entire mass of the vehicle, of course, and this may be a lot more material than people were originally expecting. Like, I don't know what people had it in their heads, but maybe they just thought you just put exoskeleton on top of battery pack with motors and boom, you call it a day. But I don't think it's going to be that easy to just mount a bunch of the wiring and interior components as well as accessory components directly to the exoskeleton. You're going to need some kind of barrier there to make the mounting process possible. So I don't think that the exoskeleton has completely been thrown out, and obviously Tesla's not going to throw out this classic design. You know, keep in mind that the whole reason the Cybertruck is designed the way it is partly for aerodynamics, but also because they knew that the steel they are using on this truck can't be easily curved or bended or rounded off like a traditional pickup truck can. So it's not purely just a design choice to make it so sharp and edgy, it's part of the material choice that is the reason it looks like that. So the fact that this Cybertruck castings is making it look still very sharp and edgy, and there's not really a drastic redesign, means that yes, they are still going to be using a very rigid exoskeleton, if you will, whether or not it replaces the mass of the vehicle or the body on frame design. It's still going to be very strong and very durable compared to essentially every other pickup truck on the market, especially considering you won't have paint to worry about. Although some downsides, I will admit, if these castings are true, is that it appears there's not really a section that folds down for the midgate. To me, it looks like the back part of the cabin is curved down very intentionally to accommodate for the vault cover that rolls up down there. And if that's where the vault cover is going to be stored when the bed is open, then it's kind of hard to imagine how they could fold that down and extend the length of your bed. So there was chit chat for a while that the Cybertruck was going to have a mid-gate. This kind of points to the idea that it won't. Again, could be a prototype, and there was rumors brewing that I didn't report on because I didn't believe it, but a couple months ago someone was claiming that Tesla was going to hand build like 30 Cybertrucks and just deliver them to like employees for testing, and these would not be like official Delta models. I guess you could say this is in the Gamma stage. I didn't believe that when I read it because I had seen crazy reports like that in the past that didn't happen. This picture almost makes me believe that report a little bit more. Like maybe they are hand building a few more beta models, and Elon referenced that he was waiting on a beta test model to drive around, which I'm excited for because I just love the concept that leading up to production we could see like dozens of Cybertrucks driving around GigaTexas, and we don't know anything about them, but you can see them on the road, and lots of people would be posting sightings and stuff in the wild. That sounds really fun to me. I want those days to come back, even if this isn't accurate to the final design, but it does make it look less likely that the Cybertruck will have pillar storage in the sails on the side, and that the mid-gate probably won't happen. Maybe it's just too complicated, and if there's anything you can take from these castings that we're seeing in the picture, it's that Tesla likes to simplify, Tesla likes to streamline, and basically break down a vehicle to its bare bone essentials and not have too much complexity so that they can build it very, very quickly and very, very profitably. Keep in mind, just because Tesla reduces parts and reduces complexities, that doesn't necessarily mean they pass those cost savings on to the consumer. The Model Y, I think, is a marveling genius in terms of the single piece castings, how bare bones they keep the design and how effective it is, and yet they're still happy to be charging well over $66,000 for it. So in a similar way, I do think the Cybertruck will be the most profitable electric truck out there. I'm still not really convinced that Rivian or Ford or even the Hummer is being sold at a profit because of how complicated the design of these vehicles are and how many parts go into them and complexities. And I think that Tesla is the type of company to go overly simple, almost to a fault a lot of the time, where people are like, hey, where's my ultrasonic sensors? You know, I want park assist, or where's my driver display, or where's my gear stocks? You know, they'll make a product worse for the consumer if it means that it's easier to manufacture, and I don't think the Cybertruck is going to be any different in that way. So here's hoping that Tesla actually updates the website one of these days, gives us some more concrete numbers, or at least targeted specifications, but in the meantime, we just got to rely on leaks like this, and my bet is that Sandy Munro is going to be very proud of how this truck is built, and you can kind of already tell with the simplicities and how many parts are simplified and just kind of locked together with Legos in this picture. But again, it's in like the corner of a warehouse. There's no other Cybertrucks on an assembly line there, so my guess is this could just be parts that are trying to calibrate equipment, would line up exactly with what stage of development Tesla says they're in right now, and I think the battery pack on this thing is likely going to be very huge, very heavy, and that should accommodate for the fairly weak and pinpoint looking roof, which a lot of people are saying that seems kind of dangerous to just have all this glass on the top of the truck in case it tips over. But I think the likelihood of the Cybertruck tipping is going to be very low because it's going to be an extremely heavy vehicle with all of the weight on the bottom and a really capable, impressive suspension system that can handle off-roads and tough terrain. But what do you guys take from this leak? Do you still think the Cybertruck deliveries are going to start mid-2023? Do you think this is actually production model equipment, or is this still prototyping? All that good stuff. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody on Patreon supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.